The hell are you supposed to be? I'm vengeance.
The Batman. But let me explain. Ever since I heard that Robert Pattinson was gonna be Batman, like I think 3 years ago, I started to like laugh at it because I only know him as Edward. But now, 2 years later, this movie just grows on me. And it's one of the best Batman movies I've ever watched since The Dark Knight. After watching this film like 6 times and finding out there's a new sequel coming up, I think it's time to just explain how good the Batman really is. So, by doing so, I'm gonna explain this film in 2 parts, basically. One, I'm gonna put it in the hero's perspective, and 2, I'm gonna put it in the villain's perspective to see how this film holds up today, 2 years later. Before I start talking about this, I just want you to know that everything in this video will be opinion based. Just because everything I say will not be fully accurate, it'll just be my point of view of what really happened in the Batman. So, just letting you know. I haven't done stuff like this in a while, and I figure why not make a video about how awesome the film is and why it surprised me all these years now. Okay, I'm done talking. You ready? Good. Because let's get started.
If I can't change things here, if I can't have an effect, I don't care what happens to me.
The Batman is like a reboot done right, and I can't wait to see what they do in the future. For starters, I like the fact that not only do you have a year 2 Batman, but at the same time he looks inexperienced and scared. I haven't seen that before. You can see him emerge so much into a crime fighter that he forgot how to become his true self, and I feel like that's an interesting thing about the Batman. All he wanted to do is take down all the corrupt stuff in Gotham, even if it includes taking risk. Still, I feel like seeing a darker approach on Batman is probably the greatest thing I ever see in a comic book movie. Don't get me wrong, I love Ben Affleck's Batman, but to me, story-wise, he didn't really stick the landing. And I like Zack Snyder's work. As much as I love Robert Pattinson's Batman, I just gotta tell you that he's not safe either. Let me explain in just a minute.
You lied to me. My whole life.
You see, my biggest issue with the film is that Bruce Wayne feels like the same character, you know? Because, like, he feels like Batman en masse. While in other Batman movies, he's a billionaire playboy and he's a crime fighter vigilante. This does not have that. Like, this man do not want to be in a meeting. He literally don't want to be with Alfred either, over there screaming, "You're not my father," which is a disrespectful move in my opinion. And he started hating on people the minute Carmine Falcone tell him about, like, what he did to the election. Which is a lie, by the way. The only good thing I can say about this is that I don't think he's a bad Bruce Wayne. I mean, as you can tell, he's young. Like I said before, he's only been there for 2 years. And obviously, it will take a while before he starts maturing as a person. So, like, I don't think he's that bad. If I had to get to say one thing about Batman in this movie is that I think it's a decent start to a trilogy. I think Matt Reeves did a decent job of Batman. I think everybody did a decent job. I mean, obviously it's part 1. I mean, we don't know what's gonna happen in part 2, but I can't wait to see what's gonna be next for Batman. I heard there's gonna be new villains in the sequel, so can't wait. And I would love to make a longer video on Batman. I would love to do like every explanation possible in my own opinion, but like I'm not the greatest explainer. I'm not the greatest at everything, but I want to do better in the future videos. I want to improve myself. But that's all we got for Batman. And I think it has great potential, but as we all know, we're going to have to wait and see what happens in the next sequel. If you would have told me what was the biggest surprise by watching the Batman for the first time, I would probably say the Riddler, hands down. Just think about it, he went from a goofy, kind of funny villain, which I love today, into a straight up serial killer. That was like the biggest change in a Batman film ever. Aside from all that, he was also the biggest hater, but also kind of reasonable, since as you can tell from his side, he was saying that there are many people that hurt him that made him turn into this way. A lot of people. So I'm gonna try to identify what really made him this way, and what jealousy he has on Bruce Wayne. Let's talk about it.
I'm giving you a chance. No one ever gave me a chance.
The only props I can give to Riddler is that he'd kill evil politicians without any cost or remorse. Let's try to identify it. In the opening scene, the Riddler literally just killed the mayor, but not only that, exposed him by also seeing him cheat on his wife. That's just petty. Number 2, he killed Commissioner Sage just because well, I don't know, he was just corrupt. And finally, the DA, Mr. Coulson. His death was pretty obvious because, as you could tell, he was protecting Carmine Falcone in the Silent Morini case, but he didn't want to say it because his family would be involved getting killed. So he just killed him instead. Who hurt the Riddler? Well, a lot of people. Well, kinda. This is probably one of the hardest things to analyze of how Riddler turned into the man he is in this series, so I'm gonna try to identify it. By doing so, we're gonna start off by his birth. Edward Nashton was born at the time that he grew up in the Gotham orphanage. That over the years, he believed that Thomas and Martha Wayne might help him in the Gotham Renewal Fund. Until they got murdered, of course. Remember last time when I said he started killing people? Well, there's actually a reason for that. By the time they both died, the GCPD started to use the renewal funds as money laundering, and that snapped this man. Something inside of him. Like, he didn't care anymore. Speaking of illegal activities, there's a funny story really, and I had to research this too because I couldn't believe what I'm reading. So, when Riddler was 17, he had a job as a delivery boy in an Italian restaurant. One day, he noticed an illegal race happening in Gotham City. It got to a point where he literally pulled explosives in a car that belongs to Dex Starlin, and he was trying to put it into action. It almost happened, but another racer intervened, and it was actually avoided. And he was pissed. Now fast forward 11 years later, he decided to burn the old Gotham orphanage where he was born and raised at. Knowing how boring it was, he decided to leave clues to the people who wronged them, then became a serial killer to the ones we know today in the Batman movie. Wow. That was something. I'm not even kidding. When I read that for the first time in the Batman lore, I got a feeling that there was a lot of stuff that was missing in that movie. I feel like we needed extended cuts for something like this. Like I said, I wish I could say more about this, but for the Riddler right there, his life was literally like a movie, but for the wrong reason. I can't, bro. This is just funny to me. I mean, when I watched the movie, he was already terrifying already. He was already terrifying when I saw it for the first time, but hearing a lore behind it makes it even scarier to look at. I mean, bro, Paul Dano made a great job on playing as the Riddler, bro. I feel like he's one of the best Riddlers I've ever seen. Because of stuff like this. Man, I can't wait for part 2. I want to know what's going to happen next.
What the hell is this? Good cop, batshit cop?
Who's the Riddler?
Riddle! How should I know?
I can't end this video without honorable mentions. First off, I want to start by the Penguin. I didn't even know that Colin Farrell was the Penguin until I had to read the end of the end credits. All aside, he did a pretty good job playing him that I didn't think that was makeup, but I just thought that was a different person. Shout out to the makeup designers on making Penguin to life, and I'm telling you now, it is not easy, but bro, they make it look like it's an easy thing to do. Also, I heard the Penguin show just came out I think a month ago. I didn't get a chance to see it. I'm just too lazy, but I need to check it out. I heard it's pretty good. And lastly, we're gonna talk about Catwoman. Now, for the first time I see her on screen, she was kind of throwing me off. I can't even hate. But after watching the film more and more, I don't think Zoe Kravitz is a bad Catwoman. She's actually decent. Now, is she the greatest Catwoman ever? No, there's better ones, but she actually did a decent job playing as the character, and I can't wait to see what she's gonna do in the sequel if she's there. And finally, that is it for the Batman. This took forever to record, and now I am at the end. I can finally release this now. Whoever watched this to the end, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will love to do more long videos because it's been a while since I've done them. Rise of the Beast is next, and I'm probably gonna make it way longer than the Batman, and I'm gonna be talking about that one deleted scene that should have been in the movie. I'm still mad at that to this day. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I have more content here. I also made a TikTok finally because it took a lot of courage to make it. I feel like I might regret it, but anyways, I love y'all and God bless you. I'll see y'all later.